Welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We are in for a good one tonight. That's why we're just going to hop right on into it. We've got a pair of Overwatch games and then the continuation of the Gridiron Rivalry Series in Valorant coming up later tonight. But we'll get to all of that. We're going to kick things off with Overwatch, Boise State versus St. Ambrose. And to help me call all of the action, it is going to be Colby D'Angelo Alloway joining us for all of that. D'Angelo, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty well. Hoping for another Boise State sweep, just like our last Overwatch match. That would be delightful. But other than that, just looking to be really excited to see what happens and what comes out of both teams.
Yeah, it is a show match between the two teams, but there's still a lot on the line. Everything counts. It still goes down in the win and loss column. And, hey, you mentioned it. You were the good luck charm. You know, after a little bit of a beatdown, you came in. You're like, Boise State's going to smash Florida State in Overwatch, and you called it. It was a 3-0 sweep. So we brought you back because Boise State needs their good luck charm every time they're on the Overwatch fields.
Absolutely, and I'm perfectly content to be that if it means Boise State gets more victories.
Yeah, you know what? If you got to stand out in the break room, if you got to stand outside, go wherever you need to go to help Boise State get a victory. We're just glad, D'Angelo, that it involves you up on the stage and not, tucked away in a corner. But before we get into all of the action, we are going to have a special guest joining us here before we get into Boise State taking on St. Ambrose. It is going to be Chase Newcomb joining us. He is the head coach for St. Ambrose's esports program, as it is the Broncos versus the Fighting Bees, which is just an excellent mascot, really, that I was really excited to see. So as we get Chase here to join us momentarily before we get into all of the action, there he is. Chase, how are you doing?
Interesting day, to say the least.
Well, Chase, why don't you talk to us? I have a two-part question for you. One, just talk to us about recruiting during all of this that's been going on. And then to follow up, what's it been like getting students back onto campus during all of this and getting them to play?
Yeah, so recruitment has not been as difficult, I would say, this year. We've laid a solid foundation last year in terms of getting recruits, and now we're just more or less looking for high-quality recruits moving forward. In terms of getting students back on campus, we've implemented a lot of COVID changes, as I'm sure most other esports programs have. We have dividers in between all of our stations, hand sanitizer readily available, and offset practice time, so students aren't in the same environment as each other.
And here at Boise State, where you like to go with our motto is outwork, outlearn, outprep, outperform. What is the sort of, focus for St. Ambrose when it comes to esports? Do you guys have like a mentality or something like that?
Yeah, so really the main focus of our program is mentality and how we really go about professionalism and personal development. We don't have, a specific tagline, but really our focus is preparing our students for career opportunities and student branding to empower our athletes to upstand themselves as young esports professionals to ensure the best avenues for success post-graduation.
And then two quick ones here before we get out. One, besides Overwatch, what other teams does St. Ambrose have?
Oh, great question. So we have two genre-based teams, a first-person shooter battle royale team and a fighting games team. And then in addition to our Overwatch team, we have a League of Legends team, a Rocket League team, and then a Fortnite team.
And then finally, we're going to see the Overwatch team tonight. So tell us a little bit about the strength of the St. Ambrose Overwatch team and what we should watch for tonight as Bronco fans to maybe watch out for if St. Ambrose is going to pull the victory off.
Man, you guys got to watch out for Cloud. He's a top 500 tank player. He knows what he's doing. And Captain Erica, the captain of the Overwatch team, she is a strong leader in her own right. So they are going to give their best tonight.
Well, Chase, thank you so much for joining us. That was Chase Newcomb, head coach of the St. Ambrose esports team. Thank you once again for joining us, and we'll see if we have to watch out for that top 500 tank player. Definitely something Bronco fans are going to want to focus on. It is Boise State versus St. Ambrose in Overwatch here tonight, the first of our Overwatch doubleheader, and then we wrap everything up with Valorant. And as we do take a look at the lineups there, you see Cloud, the player he focused on as the top 500 tank player, and then Erica there, the captain of St. Ambrose's team. So that's going to be the shot caller that Boise State might want to try and focus on, get them a little bit flustered and disrupt the communication. So we'll be curious to see as we do hop in to Doc's keys of the game. Unfortunately, Ethug does not play Overwatch, so I'm not sure putting him on Engaged Champion would be a good idea. In GoldenEye, you can definitely make sure you play Walls. Not a bad idea in Overwatch either. I know Wall and Maul used to be all over Boise State's keys to the game last year. I don't think you can screen peek, unfortunately, because, you know, we do have the players all separated. They can't even see each other's screens, let alone the opponent's screens. But, you know, why don't we have, while we figure that out, D'Angelo, why don't you tell us your keys to the game really quickly here before we get into the map?
Well, if their top 500 is a tank main, it's going to be a pretty big deal to outwit their tank, assuming that they're a main tank. Or even if they're an off tank, they're a pretty big deal in terms of shot calling. And I believe that Guac has the capability to go head-to-head with this person in terms of strategy and that sort of thing. So I believe we should be in for some really interesting plays and outplays, or at least I hope.
As we load in here onto the first map, looks like the teams are going to meet in the middle here right now. Azuro's taking a ton of damage. Boise State not really losing much health at all now. Quibble's going to drop a little bit low. Sinfac's going to be the first one to fall, though, so Boise State will see if they can press their advantage. They're going to get a couple more eliminations as well. And as you've talked about it time and time again, D'Angelo, 2 kills and Boise State just foot on the throat there. They're going to push their advantage.
Oh, yeah, and we were up 3 at that point because 2 were killed at the same time. We were just spamming that Junkrat damage, and they were just standing in the way of the Junkrat damage. And that was able to net us half their team getting sent back to spawn. So we should be able to clean that up and then have a comfortable little bit of percent on the point as we prepare into next fight.
State is going to capture the point, going to spam those grenades down towards the spawn of St. Ambrose. Garrett J dropping very low. Actually, looks like a reversal here, but it is not going to matter. Sinfac once again, second fight, same result. He's going to be the first one to go down. We're going to see the Coalescence come out from Pleb, allow Boise State to maintain. Quibble going to lose the mech there, but staying alive as Allista's going to go down.
Oh, no.
Finally, the first elimination of the game for St. Ambrose. They'll pick up one immediately into the Blossom. Both tanks for Boise State going to fall as St. Ambrose here back on the push. Respawns have come through. Everyone should be back as Rizzo's going to go down. They will trade that for Arc, so a DPS down on both teams. Boise State still doing a good job holding on to the point, nearing 40%. As we're seeing to see St. Ambrose jump right on top of it. Yeah, everyone's back here for Boise State. Couple of eliminations immediately make that a triple amount of eliminations for Boise State, as it does look like the Shatter did come down there from Cloud. That helped turn that fight around just a little bit, but Boise State gonna get that elimination. The 2 last remaining members of the Bees trying to hold on to the point, but they are going to go down, and Boise State gonna win a very, very long engage.
Fantastic, and because that was a very, very long engage, that actually gave us quite a bit of percent on the point. That was fantastic. So, like, we should have won that fight when we had first pick, and then we absolutely should have lost when we had our Diva at a mech and our Monkey die. But then we were able to fall back to point and stall long enough for the Monkey and the Diva to get back on point. They're mobile heroes, they respawn quickly. That was actually a fantastic fight that earned us a lot of percent.
Riptire going to come out. Sand Barrier going to be used as well. Going to pick up a kill on the Zero Rose as it faded. Good job there by Rezo to hold on to that tire, and immediately St. Ambrose down 2 members. Going to lose the mech on Alyssa there. There's the Junk Tire coming out from Sinfax. We'll see if he's able to pick up a kill on anyone for Boise State. Doesn't look like he's found it, as his Shatter is going to come down. That'll result in 3 kills for St. Ambrose for right now. Boise State does have the ult advantage, but the point has been flipped, as it looks like the Bees actually might come out here with a slight advantage as the respawn start coming in. As Zero is going to go down once again. We do see Quibble was knocked out of the mech and eliminated. He has respawned, and Boise State once again a very long engage on the point. This time though favoring St. Ambrose as the Death Blossom and the Coalescence both going to come out. Death Blossom from both sides, a kill for Arc, and unfortunately for Boise State, Narbles immediately goes down. Pleb's going to use the Coalescence to follow that up and try and keep the remaining members of Boise State alive, as the Primal Rage came out as well. Self-destruct from Alyssa, not going to land onto anyone. It's going to come out from Quibble as well. He's going to actually fall off the map. So for Boise State, does not look like they are faring very well in this fight. 3 members down. Icy probably going to follow. That is 4, and Boise State probably going to have to turn tail.
We shouldn't have taken that fight. We should have just clean reset after we were down 2, and then because we just gave them a bunch of percent just like they did us. We gave them about 50% of the point just with that fight there. So that was not good.
Shatter is online for Cloud. He's going to land it on the 2 members of Boise State, one of those being Beanie Bum, who immediately goes down. Quibble, the other member hit, is dropping extremely low. Sinfax will fall, but not before Arc picks another one up onto Icy. And Boise State's got to be careful here. They are approaching last fight territory.
We're getting a lot of really good, reliable picks on that Junkrat. You need to start dinking the Reapers, because the Reaper's been a major problem for our Monkey and our Diva, I mean, as he's expected to be.
Last fight going to break out here. Boise State's got to get on the point as well. It's at 97%. Both Coalescence going to come out. Sound Barrier drop from Azure Rose, but Boise State body block off the point, and St. Ambrose with a great come from behind going to secure the objective.
Yeah, we only really lost. We lost a total of 2 team fights there, if you count that last one, and we lost a team fight that we straight up shouldn't have taken and gave them 50% of the point just there fighting that fight that we should have just reset instead of sitting on there for a really, really long time. But I do happen to know that Icy Skills of the main tank, he does learn when he does things. That's part of our motto. That's why we have him as the main tank that we do. This is actually a very close game because what we had was 2 very long, drawn-out fights that got a lot of percent for both teams. Neither team is really getting rolled at all here. It's really even.
Yeah, it really felt like on that map, both teams had a point where they kept extending a fight and gave the other team about 50%, and it ended up unfortunately being Boise State, the one that paid for it just a little bit more. So we'll hop into the second map here. Boise State got to find a way to win this one to force us into map 3 of game 1. As once again, they're immediately going to jump in on the backline. Unfortunately, Rezo's going to go down. So is Narbles. The health bars have stabilized for St. Ambrose. You can see Quibble dropping very low, as well as Boise State tries to retreat and maybe get a sneaky cap onto the point. Icy going to fall down as well, and for Boise State, that feels like they've got to reset here.
Yep, we can see Beanie there waiting for the reset. Yeah, they got both of our DPS trying to flank to get some tricky kills, but instead it was them who got tricky killed. But we did clean reset there instead of trying to fight, so clearly we're getting better, we're learning. So I do expect that we should be able to flip this around, maybe.
See, Alyssa's going to be knocked out of the mech to start things off there. Primal Rage going to come out from Cloud, and he's going to jump right in onto Boise State and knock them all off of the high ground. Coalescence going to come out from both members. Jarek dropping very low before just finally stabilizing. Icy's going to get the first pick on the arc, and now we'll see if Boise State can push the advantage. You can see them trying to get onto the point as it nears 30%. Cloud going to fall down. Sound Barrier comes out from Azure Rose, but not in time to stop one elimination from the Death Blossom. Primal Rage is coming out from Icy as well, and you can feel like Boise State starting to gain control of this fight. They are on the point. A couple of members left. Alyssa going to go off, and Boise State's going to win that one.
That was great. They also clean reset too, so they're also learning. That was really, really good. However, the Death Blossom was completely unnecessary, but then Lucio responded to it with Sound Barrier, so it's kind of like they were both completely unnecessary, but it's really good that we had that Sound Barrier out. The Monkey ult was just completely out of place, and that was...
Speaking of Monkey being out of place, that Cloud immediately falls down. Alyssa going to come out of the mechs. In fact, tried to pop the Riptire and got taken down. No eliminations to show for it. Now the Baby Diva goes down, and Boise State kind of just surprised St. Ambrose. I don't think Cloud expected all that damage.
Yeah, that was fantastic. He did as monkeys sometimes do and jumped into an area where he didn't have all the information and proceeded to get melted because, you know, he doesn't have enough health to be 1v6. And because of that lost fight there where the main tank walked in, we are at a significant ultimate.
See, Rizzo's going to start it. Speaking of ult with a Riptire, it's going to knock out one and basically eliminates two other members.
Nice.
Cloud, Arc, and Azure Rose all going to fall. That was all on the back of Rizzo. The Riptire got one and put everyone else at 1 HP. What a fight for Boise State.
Absolutely fantastic. And even after winning that fight and losing and using ultimates, we still have the ultimate advantage here. However, they do still have the big old Death Blossom, so we do need to keep getting early picks here or just kill the Reaper outright when he teleports.
Soundberry is available for BD Bum. We'll see if he is able to predict it in time. It is going to come out immediately as they're able to take Arc. As you mentioned, D'Angelo, just stop him from ulting. Self-destruct from Melissa is going to pick up one. Coalescence going to be used by Pleb to try and make up for some of that healing. Sinfax going to fall down once again. Looks like Pleb's going to pick up Cloud with the very last tick of that Coalescence. Boise State here in complete command of the point. 99% just has to eliminate St. Ambrose off the point. As you can see the swaps coming out. There's the Death Blossom from Arc. He didn't even get an elimination. Instead, Narvel picks up two with his own, and Boise State answers right back.
Absolutely fantastic. Boise State did both Boise State and St. Andrews did an amazing job learning, and they need to continue to learn. Boise State happened to have the advantage here because, like I said, Icy is a shot caller who learns. He's able to call those fights, tell us when we need to wipe, tell us when that was a bad idea. And so he's done a really, really good job of turning this around. And Cloud's also done a really good job of making sure that they don't have those same long drawn-out fights. So going into this next one, it's probably going to be a matter of who gets the first pick and or who can get high ground control here. I do expect some hit scan heroes to come out, so it's probably going to be that pick thing. That's going to be the win condition for either team picks.
It didn't look like there was many swaps on either side. This is map 3 of game 1, so winner going to go up to a 1-0 lead here as the teams are going to meet. Narvel's going to drop extremely low. Oof. Rizzo as well. Boise State's got to retreat and at least stabilize those health bars. Now they feel comfortable going back in. Cloud's going to be the first one taken down. Alyssa dropping very low, but Boise State has a couple of health bars that are near critical condition. Arc's going to fall down. Mech killed away as well from Alyssa. Sinfax falls at Boise State. 3 eliminations, and they're going to take the point.
Fantastic job by Boise State. We played door win condition of killing somebody first. While it didn't come from the sniper because we swapped off. It did come on the main tank, which increases your chances of winning a fight significantly.
Rizzo's very close to that Riptire. We've seen him make a couple of excellent plays with it earlier in the fight, so we'll see if he can make another one here. The Riptire is going to be available, immediately going to be used and immediately picks off Arc. Sinfax not going to be able to use his own as well. Pleb's going to use the Coalescence as Boise State tries to push the advantage. 4 members down. Azure Rose probably not going to be able to get away. Boise State with a clean 5-man kill.
Fantastic. Beanie Bum is just bullying that poor monkey with his boops, putting him in and out of positions and in and out of fights that he doesn't necessarily want to be into. And it's just fantastic to watch, to be honest.
Full respawn coming out for both sides here. 40% for Boise State. The Riptire still available for Sinfax, so we'll see if he can make a big of a play as Rizzo has, you see, the Primal Rage and the Self-Destruct available. Also, Jarek does have the Coalescence available for St. Ambrose. There it is. There's the Riptire, and Boise State's going to take that opportunity to go all in. They're going to get a couple of picks. Arc going to fall as well. Primal Rage coming out from Icy. You have to wonder if he really needed to use that. Riptire is going to pick up one. Sound Barrier from Azure Rose is going to be used, but to really no effect. At Boise State comfortably going to win that fight. Cloud going to use the Primal Rage just to heal back up to full life as he's trying to stall out for the respawns to come in. Cloud dropping very, very low. We'll see if Boise State's able to get the elimination. Unfortunately, Beanie Bump's the first one to go down. And St. Ambrose might have turned this fight around. Rizzo's going to fall. Self-destruct from Alyssa is going to pick up Icy. And just like that, St. Ambrose actually managed to turn that fight around.
Yes, I mean, they were going in there with an ultimate advantage, and that's usually what happens on these sorts of things. But I mean, it was fantastic for them to be able to flip that because it was a fight that they didn't have the advantage in, so it was really impressive that they managed to do that.
Yeah, it felt like it was a fight. Boise State basically had one Cloud Primal Raging at 10% life, getting the full heal from that ultimate. stalling out long enough for St. Ambrose to get back onto the point. You do see Boise State does have the ult advantage. Jarek dropping very, very low, should be able to heal that one back up before anything too crazy breaks out here. In Boise State sort of waiting around. They have a lot of percent to give. St. Ambrose only now hitting the 30% mark. Boise State still waiting for the call to go all in. And here we go. Coalescence going to be popped as well as Riptire and the Death Blossom. It's not going to matter that Coalescence and Sound Barrier came out. They're not going to be able to save Sinfax. Mech going to go down as well. Arc's going to be forced to use his Death Blossom as Jarek's going to pick up one. Arc will fall. Rizzo's going to pick up another one. Alyssa just barely gets back into the mech. Rizzo is going to fall immediately though. Hugh Jibble's going to lose his mech in a very back and forth fight. Azuro's going to fall. Alyssa goes down and Boise State sustains some of that damage. They're going to take the point and now St. Ambrose has got to hurry.
Pleb was absolutely the king of sustain in that fight as the Moira managing to stay alive on 30 HP for a good couple seconds.
96%, so you know St. Ambrose has to come in on the point. Sinfax immediately going to be eliminated. You can see the swap to Tracer to try and keep in overtime. Azure Rose is going to fall. Boise State doing a really good job. Primal Rage going to come out from Cloud. Icy's going to answer with his own as well. St. Ambrose has been able to survive long enough for some respawns to come in, but it's not before Cloud goes down. Jarek will fall, and so will Arc. Alyssa's mech barely hanging on. It's going to go bye-bye as well, and Boise State has to feel comfortable where they are. Sound Barrier going to come out just to counter out any Riptire action, and Boise State going to take map 3 and win game 1.
Absolutely fantastic on the side of Boise State there.
And Boise State really doing a great job, and as you mentioned, I think the biggest takeaway, D'Angelo, had to be that both sides, but mainly Boise State, they kind of learned. You said map 1 took a fight and really kept fighting in a time they shouldn't. That allowed St. Ambrose to get it, and then they turned that around and said, hey, we lost the fight, everybody just die, let's reset, and I think they did a great job in map 2 and 3.
Absolutely. Boise State did an amazing job in maps 2 and 3, and I believe that there were two major keys to that. I mean, obviously it's a team game, so everybody does their own thing, but I do believe that the Icy versus Cloud top shot calling, target focus, that sort of thing, I do believe that Icy rose to that challenge and is doing an amazing job as a peak Masters against the top 500, which is completely exceptional, and I'm very proud of our team here. And then secondly, I don't think we had a single junk tire that didn't kill someone. I think we got value out of every single junk tire there was, which is a really amazing first pick, because that just gives you a massive advantage in fight, and it's an ultimate that charges so quickly. Our Junkrat really did an amazing job of setting those fights up for victory.
Yeah, I mean, there was even in one on the second map that it didn't quite get a triple kill, but it might as well. It killed one, and the other two were at exactly 1 HP. So
that's true.
You really have to say this, while it was a 2-1 victory in game 1 for Boise State, that map 1, it felt like was Boise State's to dominate. It just, as we talked about, they kept one fight around where they probably, if they full reset, they probably win this 2-0. And I think this is actually where this was like an insane tire. You see it kills the Zeros, and Cloud and Arc are less than 10% and immediately fall. That basically is a triple kill for the Junkrat.
Yeah, absolutely. And you called it when it happened. You saw the health bars go from like full to almost 0 there. And that was just a fantastic Junkrat tire, and he just did that all game.
And were you surprised, D'Angelo, that both teams were kind of content running identical comps? I mean, it was the Junkrat Reaper, the Moira Lucio, and then the Diva Monkey. Were you surprised that neither side ever maybe said, hey, this isn't working, we should swap, or was that kind of what you expected the whole time?
Not necessarily, because it's not like the comp that wasn't working on anything. It's like shot calling and target focus micro things that are losing either team fights, or getting picks, or the other team getting picks that you really didn't want them to get.
We do load into the second map. It somehow, by a miracle, maybe they just deleted it from the archives. It's actually not King's Row. It's a Blizzard World. So this is a map that I don't think we've seen all semester, so why don't you run us through the do's and don'ts of Blizzard World, D'Angelo?
Well, so it looks like we're running more or less mirrors. We both have the Monkey, which is really important. We both have the Reaper, which is really important. But we're running more of a 6-man dive comp sort of thing on defense, which is going to be pretty significant, and we're going to want, and it's going to be relatively difficult with our current comp to get people off of the low ground and take high ground from us. So they might have to put some switches in here on the side of St. Ambrose.
We'll see how the first fight turns out as Cloud's going to hop right in, and he is going to fall right over. Arc's going to join him. Boise State with a pair of quick eliminations, and now the Broncos going to say, But let's go back to the Hive fighting bees, because right now St. Ambrose has no front line and no DPS.
Oh yeah, and I mean, that is a legitimate strategy on Blizzard World. Sit on that balcony and wait for somebody to dive you and then just collapse and melt them. And I mean, kudos to the Reaper for diving with the monkey, but considering it was 2v6, the odds were not in their favor.
And it kind of felt like the expected result. Pleb and Beanie Bum going to drop extremely low, and both of them are going to get eliminated. St. Ambrose with 2 quick picks onto the supports for Boise State, and now they're really going to shove the advantage. Icy's going to be the next one to fall. Rayla is going to pick up a kill onto Arc, but it hasn't done much to slow down St. Ambrose as Rayla will fall. And it looks like off those 2 quick picks, this should be a full cap for the side of St. Ambrose, as Boise State trying to hold on here, but it looks like the Broncos have all but decided it's time to just reset.
Oh yeah, absolutely. St. Ambrose learned from that first engage that did not go well, and then they proceeded to do it all together, dive together, and they managed to kill both of our supports, which is horrible for us and a basic complete fight loser, but was really good for them for learning.
You see, it looks like the Blade is online versus the Riptire, and then both Coalescences, so we'll see how these teams want to manage their ult. Rizzo's going to jump in on the back line. Blade immediately going to be used. He'll pick up 1 before falling. Icy's going to win the Duel of the Monkeys as well. So Boise State currently sitting up 1. Riptire is going to come out from Sinfax. He's going to get a double kill. Boise State probably going to slow any momentum they had in that fight, and Boise State probably going to have to retreat. Rayla and Quibble dropping very, very low as well. A huge Riptire this time from with St. Ambrose to win a fight.
Absolutely. That was a huge Riptire that won them that fight, because Boise State was going to win that fight, and then they killed our main tank and our main healer in one fell swoop, and then there it is, guys. We run away.
Looks like Boise State ready to go right back in. You do see it's going to start with Quibble using the self-destruct on the D.Va. It's going to pick up 2. Primal Rage going to be used by Cloud as well. Boise State will see if they can survive against the Angry Monkeys. They have the advantage. Azuro's going to go down. Sound Barrier not going to save him. Jarrett going to fall as well, and Boise State going to get a couple of eliminations. Unfortunately, Beanie Bum will go down. Icy now jumping in on the back line. He'll pick up Cloud as soon as the Primal Rage falls. He has his own Primal Rage, but right now Boise State just content holding him in the spawn and bleeding out some clock.
Quidgeable carry? Question mark? That was a fantastic little triple kill there. And Icy did an amazing job of staggering Cloud, their monkey, because that gave us an extra 5 seconds and took an extra 5 seconds away from them. And now that we have the high ground, it's going to be relatively difficult for them to retake this.
Coalescence going to start the fight from Jarrett. Boise State surviving, but the health bar is getting critical. Cloud dropping very, very low. Death Blossom from Arc going to pick up the first elimination. Sound Barrier from Azure is going to save everyone but the Reaper, and Boise State's going to have to answer with their own one, unfortunately only landing onto a couple of members, but the Broncos will survive. Another D.Va Bomb going to come out from Quibble. We'll see if he has as much success as the first one. He'll only pick up 1 onto Alyssa, who he used her own as well. That one's going to pick up just Quibble's mech. Rizzo going to take down the Junkrat as a mirror duel with Boise State side winning all of the 1v1 matchup. Azuro's now going to fall in Boise State. Starting to feel confident. Arc in on the back line. He's going to get a pick, but he'll fall, but Boise State should be able to have Pleb respawn in time.
Oh yeah, Pleb just extended a little too much there, and Moira is a fast hero. She should be in here before next engage because they were so stagger killed.
Riptire up for Boise State. See if Rizzo can capitalize on another huge Riptire. He's been almost averaging at least 1 ult, I should say, so far for Boise State, at least on the first map. As right now, looks like they will get pushed off of the high ground there. Cloud dropping a little bit low, but he is going to be able to hero. Here it comes. Rizzo going to use the Riptire. He has a huge advantage. He's only going to be able to pick up 1. Sinfax going to go down as well. He's going to get his own, though, with the Riptire. So Boise State, unfortunately, only going to be able to be up 1, and Rayla going down with the Death Blossom online. Boise State still going to be able to pick up Cloud, though, in the process. Tank down. Jarrett dropping very low as well. Can Boise State pick up the Moira? They are able to get it. Now the Broncos up 3 as Arc falls as well. Alyssa going to be forced out of the mech. Baby D.Va going to go down, and Boise State going to pick up 4.
There it is, a nice little stagger there. We were in a little bit of iffy territory when Rayla died with the Death Blossom, but we did an amazing job of coming back there.
Now we do have the Death Blossom online, both Coalescences online, and then the Primal Rage up for Cloud, where you can see Icy at 80%, probably going to have his in the middle of this fight unless he gets just eviscerated by the side of St. Ambrose. Here we go. Coalescence going to start the fight from Jarrett. Club going to force to be used his own. Beanie Bum will fall to start the fight for Boise State. Arc dropping very, very low. Primal Rage going to come out. Death Blossom from Raylan, not going to be able to pick up any elimination, so Boise State using all of those ultimates, probably going to have to find a way to retreat as Rizzo right on top of the point. Caught out in the middle of St. Ambrose. Diva Bomb going to come out from Melissa. That's going to pick up one as Rayla falls as well. And Boise State with just over a minute left needing a hold here. Probably going to have to surrender second point over to the side of St. Ambrose as Quibble Pleb going to go down.
They got to pick on Beanie, and then we didn't get value out of the Death Blossom. That's what won them that fight there. But, I mean, silver lining, now we go into the next fights with ultimate advantage.
Boise State going to contest with 1 meter left to go until point 2. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter. 3 members going to fall. They are able to get the sound barrier out of Azura Rose. The Diva Bomb going to be able to pick up one, but not enough to stop St. Ambrose from capping second point and adding some time back onto the clock as Pleb will fall.
Yeah, Quidgible's still managing to get a kill on a losing fight. But I mean, they did get out 2 of our tank ultimates there, but we do still have the sound barrier, which is the really, really big ult for Boise State. And we do still have Riptire, which is actually a pretty big deal in Junkrat's hands.
Yeah, Rizzo been getting a kill every time. Sinfac's going to start the fight off, though, with his own Riptire. We did see Quibble forced out of the mech as a double kill comes out from the opposing Junkrat. We'll see if Rizzo, he's trying to find a place to ult, but you can see St. Ambrose all over that one. He is going to go down. Boise State losing 4 members. There's the Primal Rage and the Coalescence came out, and Boise State's now got to find one quick fight as that payload's getting closer and closer.
Oh yeah, they placed that Riptire perfectly because they're trying to just kill us once and then proceed to stagger us to the rest of the point. They're trying to just roll third point.
Coalescence going to be used by Pleb. Riptire going to come out for Rizzo as well. He's going to answer. He's going to get his own double kill. Diva Bomb is going to come out. It'll pick up Rayla and Quibble's mech, but Boise State should be able to hold on. Currently sitting up 2 as St. Ambrose maybe got a little overconfident. They walk right into that Riptire, and Boise State should be able to set up for one more fight as Jarek's going to get a stagger kill there. Quibble just falling off. He wants his mech back, and Boise State here has a chance to hold.
Absolutely amazing on the side of Boise State. You can't roll if you're Junkrat and your Lucio are dead. So, I mean, there we go. We got another amazing Riptire from Rizzo over there.
Get into the last fight. The only ultimate currently online is Beanie Bum's sound barrier. It's going to start with a quick pick onto Jarek. So down 1 support for St. Ambrose. We'll see what the Fighting Bees want to do. 6 seconds left. They're going to hop right on top of the point. Cloud dropping very low. He's going to get eliminated. Boise State still holding on to that sound barrier for now as overtime starts off. Jarek has respawn, but it's not going to be there in time. Riptire is going to pick up 3 if you count the mech. Sinfac's going to fall as well. Alyssa just a matter of time, and Boise State 5 members down for the Fighting Bees. The Broncos will hold just barely.
Absolutely fantastic. And one pretty major thing, because this is a relatively dive-centric map, given the comp that we're running, is the monkey dives, success of the monkey dives. When Icy dives, his team is there. He's got people that he's played with before, they know what he's trying to do, they're following him. He's risen to the challenge, and the rest of his team is like, we'll back you up. Cloud is making good dives, but is not walking in with the manpower to have truly successful, amazing, team-winning dives. Because you can't just do it with one person.
Yeah, I mean, there has been probably 2 or 3 times every single map where Cloud just kind of goes in and gets eviscerated, as you talked about, the Edgos. So I think you're completely right. I mean, we talked about it. Cloud, a top 500 tank player. Icy more than handling in a monkey v monkey matchup, because I think you're right. Every time Icy goes in, he's got support. Cloud, he just kind of falls over.
Absolutely, but Cloud is learning. We shouldn't discount his skills as a player, because it's not necessarily... It's interesting, because it doesn't necessarily have to be his fault that his team isn't following him.
Wait to get into the fight.
But usually there's some sort of a disconnect there. And Boise State doesn't have that disconnect, and I believe that is, if we can continue to not have that disconnect while the Fighting Bees still have that, I do believe that that will give us this map, that coordination of the monkey dives.
Boise State's definitely going to have their work cut out from them. They've got to get 2 points in very, very close to the third. 101.9 meters is going to be the Broncos' target. We're going to hop in. The only difference between the sides, a Junkrat still for Sinfac Rayla going to be on the Tracer to start things off. No high ground hold for the Fighting Bees. They're going to fight right on top of the point. Right now, Rayla going to drop very, very low, going to force the retreat over to that health pack. Boise State also sustaining some damage to Pleb, who gets very low before getting out there. Icy and Cloud both sitting very, very low respectively. Arc going to be able to Wraith Form away and avoid any damage from Rayla, who is going to be the first one eliminated. Rizzo is going to pick up elimination onto Cloud, so it is sitting at 1-1. Boise State now going to try and push their advantage with the main tank down. Beanie Bum and Pleb dropping very, very low. Riptire already online for Syntax. He's immediately going to use it. Pleb going to try and use the Coalescence. Can't Coalescence when you are dead. Huge Riptire for the side of St. Ambrose as it gets the mech as well. Quibble going to fall. Beanie Bum and Icy as well. And St. Ambrose with a great fight once they got that Riptire online.
Absolutely. That Riptire was at a really unfortunate time for Boise State because Pleb had just popped Coalescence, and you can't fade away from a Riptire if you're locked in Coalescence land.
To see what Boise State wants to do. Coalescence is on for Jarek, and then both Lucios do have the sound barrier. Boise State, everything else above 70%, of course, except Pleb, who did just ult, so we'll see how quickly Boise State can get him online. Sound barrier going to start the fight for Beanie Bum as he nearly goes down. It's going to land onto everyone. Icy, though, is the first one to fall. Syntax goes down for the side of St. Ambrose, so now Boise State without the tank. We'll see how they can hold on. Coalescence and the Diva Bomb going to come out. Arc is going to fall, and then immediately Boise State loses 3. The Broncos once again get the first elimination, trade 1 for 1, and then everything goes south.
We were absolutely not ready for that Diva Bomb. We even canceled their Reaper ult without our Reaper even using his ult, but we were absolutely blindsided by that Diva Bomb and not playing cover as we should have with a relatively low shield comp and a low shield meta.
Boise State time starting to get a little bit tricky here for the Broncos. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Do have the Death Blossom, Primal Rage, and the Pulse Bomb online. Sound Barrier and Primal Rage up on the side of St. Ambrose. Rizzo going to try and jump right in on the backline. He's dropping extremely low. Going to have to be forced to Wraith Form out of there. Now he's going to pop the Death Blossom. Going to get a ton of hit markers. Unfortunately, no eliminations to show for it as Zeros. Going to use the Sound Barrier to cancel out a lot of that damage. Primal Rage traded on both sides. Cloud and Icy both about 50%. Quibble going to get the first elimination onto Azuros, and now Boise State looks like they think they have the advantage. Jarek very low as well. Quibble going to use his own Diva Bomb to pick up 1. Boise State gets another one in the process, and it looks like the Broncos have found their way onto the point. They'll get a couple more, and this should be an easy capture for Boise State as they pick off the straggler.
Absolutely fantastic. Their Junkrat wasn't ready for the Diva Bomb, and that really cost the side of St. Ambrose because he was 3% ult and now has ult, and as we've seen, he's very capable of flipping a fight with his ultimate there.
Yeah, the Junkrats have really been the fight flippers for both sides. Boise State foregoing that one for a Tracer as the Riptire is going to come out by Synfax. It's going to land a huge double kill. Basically a triple kill as the mech goes down. Quibble going to fall, and Boise State, you just mentioned D'Angelo. It's a fight flipper, and Boise State unfortunately got that fight flipped right on him.
Oh yeah, Junktire will be Junktire. He'll walk in and get a 3 elimination. However, that wasn't necessarily the most impactful fight he could have used it in because he could have won them and continued holding the point last fight. So actually, that's really the lesser of 2 evils.
That is true, unfortunately, with the respawns coming out as the Diva Bomb does come out. Icy's going to fall again as Zero's going to go down. A huge Death Blossom comes out from Rizzo to get 3 and help Boise State turn around what had been a losing fight. Quibble going to go off the edge. Arc going to use his own Death Blossom. He's going to kill onto Beanie Bum. Pleb going to use the Coalescence. He'll get a kill onto Cloud. Now Boise State in a really drawn-out fight that had all sorts of ultimates thrown around. Going to eventually win that one thanks to Rizzo.
Absolutely amazing with that Death Blossom walking in there, picking up a triple kill when we were already down Icy. So we went from almost a guaranteed lost fight to almost a guaranteed won fight because then we were up 2 by the time the Death Blossom was over. So that was an absolute Reaper carry on that fight.
Both Primal Rages are up. They're both going to be used at exactly the same time. Pleb trying to get away from a very angry Gorilla. Rayla going to go down off screen to Syntax. So Boise State has to be careful. Icy dropping very low as the Primal Rage is going to dissipate from both members. Zeros immediately going to use the Sound Barrier to try and keep St. Ambrose alive as a lot of the health bars were nearing 50%. That's going to get everyone back up. Beanie Bum still holding on to the Sound Barrier. He is going to go down with it. A huge double kill though going to come out from the Diva Bomb, and Boise State once again gets a huge ult to flip the fight. Icy going to take down Cloud and Arc. Alyssa will fall, and Boise State has had some huge ultimates here to flip fights they probably didn't deserve to win.
Quidgible's doing an amazing job of recognizing when they're not ready for a Diva Bomb, when they're not playing cover, or where their monkey has already used his bubble. It's just like clockwork. The second that monkey bubble breaks, Quidgible's just there with a bomb.
Rayla's going to use a bomb of her own, not going to be able to land onto anything there. Riptire going to come out from Sinfax, so Boise State has to be careful. Wibble going to pick up a kill, and no kill from the Riptire. We'll see if the Broncos can push the advantage. Coalescence from Pleb going to come out. Here comes the Death Blossom from Arc. Probably a ton of hit markers, but nothing else to show for it as a third member will fall for St. Ambrose. Alyssa all alone outside of the mech will go down. There goes Jarek, and Boise State with a huge fight here to cap point 2 with just 40 seconds left.
Absolutely fantastic. I saw Rezo's life flash before my eyes that entire fight, to be completely honest. We were spectating him. His health bar was just all over the place. You should be sure to thank your boy Ro, which is Pleb.
Boise State now has their final destination in mind. 101 meters is the target here to take Blizzard World and go up 2 wins in this series. It is not a best of 3. They will play all 3 matches if you've seen the rules flash on the bottom of your screen. As the fight breaks out here, Cloud gonna drop very low, gonna force the Coalescence out from Jarek, and Boise State gonna do a good job disengaging here, waiting for that to go out. Alyssa and Quibble both going to drop the Diva Bomb. Quibble gets 1. Alyssa able to get just the mech, but Cloud will be able to take down Rizzo in the process. Alyssa did fall while outside of the mech. Rayla gonna pick up Jarek as well. Boise State holding a just ever slight advantage here with a minute 22 on the clock. Pulse Bomb going to come out, not going to find anyone, but the rest of Boise State will, and they should be able to get very, very close to their goal.
That fight was a little bit iffy until Rayla went up there and killed the Moira, so fantastic job on Rayla. Good job there.
Looks like Boise State is going to have 3 ultimates online for what could potentially be the last fight. Nothing on the side of St. Ambrose, so we'll see how quick Boise State wants to pull the trigger here. You see Rezos, he's got the Blossom, but Beanie Bump going to go down with the Sound Barrier online. There's the Coalescence and the Death Blossom. It's going to get a combination of 2 members on the side of St. Ambrose. Primal Rage did come out. Syntax going to use the Riptire, but it's not going to land in. Boise State, despite losing a member early, going to be able to wipe up St. Ambrose. There goes Cloud. Just have to get the payload to the final point, and Boise State, it was a rough start, but they're going to win Blizzard World and win their second map of the series.
There it is, Blizzard World, absolutely amazing. If we hadn't had 4 or 5 ultimates to blow on that fight, we would have lost that because our Lucia was down and their respawns were so much closer than ours, and we almost would have had to back up and give them an extra 30 to 50 seconds. So that was a fantastic job using ults there.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, you looked at it, you're like, okay, there's 3 ults on the side of Boise. That should be an easy win, but a huge pick, as you mentioned, on the Beanie Bump. Didn't even get the Sound Barrier off, but hey, when you got Death Blossom and Coalescence, I guess you really don't need all 6 members.
Yeah, we can just yeet the Reaper into the enemy team with a laser on him. Like, you're pretty okay. I mean, down to Lucio or not.
Yeah, Boise State doing a great job there. So they have won the first 2 maps, but unlike traditional best of 3s from what we've seen at the rules that I know we flashed on the screen a couple of times for this tournament, it is the all 3 maps. Doesn't matter how the maps go, so you play all of them. There you go. There's the NECC Collegiate Overwatch 6v6 competitive, 3 games, not a best of. So we are going to go to Escort, Control Hybrid Escort, no hero bans in an 8-week regular season. So just because Boise State won the first 2, you always want to get the 3rd one. Usually in maps like this, you get extra points for wins. So as we go on to the final map, Boise State got to feel comfortable, but St. Ambrose definitely gave them a run for their money.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm actually really excited that we're playing extra maps because the fight between these 2 teams is so incredibly close. It's dependent on ult usage and dependent on success of monkey dives. And it's just been really, really fantastic to watch because both teams are getting absolutely insane ultimates that are flipping fights either way. And I mean, really, that's the point of an ultimate. But it'll be interesting to watch how both teams continue to grow in their match against each other.
And were you shocked at all, speaking of ults that have flipped fights, that really it felt like the Junkrat, especially for Rizzo, has been a fight flipper? Were you shocked at all that on offense Boise State opted for the Tracer instead of the Junkrat?
Well, I do believe that swapping their Rizzo, I do believe that swapping him from Junkrat to Reaper, I do believe that he also got an insane amount of value on Reaper.
That's true.
So really, I believe that the value of the ultimates is coming from the player, not necessarily the character that they're on, because we witnessed all kinds of triple and double kills, even with a DM and a monkey bubble pointed at him. So actually, I just believe that's a credit to him as an amazing player.
Yeah, I mean, really the Riptires from him have been insane. As you mentioned, the Death Blossoms were also insane as Rayla opted for the Tracer, got a couple of huge picks as well. I mean, you can see one right there. That was a 3-man Death Blossom in a fight that St. Ambrose, it really felt like they were winning. Pleb, of course, finished things off with the Coalescence. But yeah, there's been some huge fight-flipping ultimates. And even though that you said, D'Angelo, that's the point of ultimates, I don't know if I've ever seen a series where it feels like every fight kind of flips based on whoever team has the ultimate.
Oh, absolutely. We're getting some exceptional ultimate usage. I do believe that part of that is because neither team is completely prepared for Diva Bombs.
Yeah.
Because we've been spoiled with shield meta for so long that you just stand with your tanks and you're fine. Except that's not really the case anymore because Diva herself can't do anything against an enemy Diva's bomb, and Monkey only has a bubble that's usually used when he dives in, and usually the enemy Diva's not bombing unless they've seen the bubble come out. So you actually have to play cover to avoid getting killed by those bombs, which is a relatively new concept for some people, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say that is the one thing that you kind of mentioned is it does feel like there's been a lot of Diva bomb kills. I mean, yes, it is one of the more telegraphed ultimates, but everyone's had that time like, I see the Diva bomb, but I can't go anywhere because I have overcommitted, so I will just explode to my death.
I would just explode. Maybe you get a hello or like a thank you off before you're just sent back to spawn. But yes, I do believe that awareness of Diva bombs is something that both teams can absolutely work on here.
Well, this is Boise State versus St. Ambrose here in the NECC Collegiate Esports regular season. It is a 3-map game, not a best of that we might be used to, so we are going to be heading in here to escort. Boise State winning the first 2 games, but not, I don't want to say easily, but it was very close. I mean, we took the map 3 on game 1, and then we saw how close Boise State basically had to get to getting the last point. So these are 2 very evenly matched squads that Boise State has got to be careful for if they want to make sure they win all 3 maps.
Oh yes, absolutely. This is completely a learning game, and I believe one of the deciding factors on this next map will be who adapts more to not getting killed by Diva bombs, if that makes sense. So in addition to success of Monkey Dives, which we have still been working on, and St. Albans, they've actually gotten much, much better since we first saw them on Busan. But they're still just not as like airtight as the Icy Beanie going in dive combo because they've been playing with each other for a really, really long time, and they're very close friends in real life too. So they're just an unstoppable dive combo.
Interesting to see here as we hop onto the last map. Does look like Frost has come in for the side of Boise State. Going to put up the Sombra arc on the Sombra as well for St. Ambrose. So the Junkrat has been thrown to the corner here. And it looks like for now Boise State on that high ground, sort of waiting for St. Ambrose to come to them. Cloud going to jump in once again. He will drop low. Frost in. He is behind Sinfax. So the first elimination is going to go on to Azure Rose. And Boise State has to like how that fight started out. We do see Frost now getting right up close and personal there with Alyssa, who's going to jump off, dropping very, very low. Cloud going to go down as well. Unfortunately, Azure Rose has respawned. Arc will fall. Boise State now officially up 2 is Jarek dropping very, very low. Sinfax dropping low. The mech going to go down. And Boise State, you have to love how this fight started as they'll pick up a couple eliminations here and make St. Ambrose wait for everyone to respawn.
Absolutely. For the same reason that we have a lot of success on the side of Boise State with Monkey Dives, we have a lot of success with the Sombra hacks. We have the ability to target focus. Everybody's listening to Icy as the primary shot caller. It's really just an amazing thing to see. We got them all swept off of high ground, and at that point it was just a matter of everybody hitting the same thing that was preferably hacked.
You see the EMP much closer for Boise State, basically doubled. Narvel's going to start it off, though, with an elimination onto Sinfax. Reaper down for Boise State. Frost is going to get hacked by Arc, as we see Narvel's immediately going to drop the Death Blossom. Not going to be able to pick up any eliminations, but Pleb will be able to take down Cloud in the process. Azure Rose going to fall, so will Jarek. The mech goes down. Alyssa going to be forced to just kind of sit there and let Boise State delay that spawn as long as they want. The Broncos, once again, winning another huge fight.
We absolutely should have had somebody pushing on the cards right after we killed the monkey there, because we just lost a lot of card percentage, and it doesn't really matter how amazingly you win the fight if you didn't get any card points for that, because there's no reward in winning that fight there. There's no, after the monkey was dead, we were up 2 and they were down their primary DPS, because Sombra's very useful, but she doesn't do a lot of damage herself, and we didn't even move the card at all for winning that fight.
Frost, he was trying to set up a big EMP, hesitated just a bit much. It was found out there by the Alyssa. Boise State does have 4 ultimates. St. Ambrose has 3 as well. As we see, a huge EMP is going to land onto 5 members of St. Ambrose. Cloud, the only surviving member, had the Primal Rage, but Boise State not going to get any eliminations as the EMP falls. Icy actually the first one to go down with the Diva Bomb coming up. Sound Barrier going to be used as well by Azure Rose as Narbles falls, and Boise State looks like they're going to be forced to retreat. EMP up for Arc as well, and very rarely, D'Angelo, do you ever see a team get 5-man EMP'd and then end up winning the fight, as Boise State going to be forced probably to concede this first point as they're just getting pushed back by the side of St. Ambrose. Beanie Bum dropping very low, going to go down, and St. Ambrose, I don't know how they survived a 5-man EMP.
Because Boise State wasn't ready to commit on that 5-man EMP, which is either Sombra dived too soon or everybody else didn't dive quick enough.
Boise State actually going to get back onto the point.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if St. Ambrose got distracted, if they pushed past the point, because Boise State's actually picked up 2 eliminations now as the Primal Rage and the Diva Bomb have both come out. And St. Ambrose, you could see how close they were to the point. I don't know what happened because Boise State immediately respawned and was able to make it back, something I wasn't expecting.
Icy happened. Icy with Primal Rage happened as the first death to the Diva Bomb, which was probably unfortunate and not intentional on his part, but which actually ended up working really, really well in Boise's favor because he was able to come in Primal Rage on that point until his Diva got there and until everybody else got there with the Lucio speed boost.
Arc does have the EMP. He's going to drop it. It's only going to land onto 2 members, and then he immediately is going to go down. Beanie Bum is unfortunately going to fall. Sinfact will fall, so St. Ambrose is now out of DPS. They'll use the Coalescence to try and make up for it. Primal Rage going to come out, and a huge 4-man EMP landing on every member of St. Ambrose who is sitting on the point. The Death Blossom follows, and there's not much the Bees could do. Boise State gets the full wipe. Arc and Sinfact just respawn. They're not able to make it back, and the second EMP is the big one as Boise State holds.
Oh yeah, we're having some absolutely massive EMPs. And when the reroll came out, my first thought was, that seems like a little bit of overkill. But then I realized that it was overtime, and there is no such thing as overkill. So that was really fantastic to watch. That was we didn't even let them cap first point, which was really, really impressive and almost didn't happen because we almost didn't have Icy there in time to stall that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was already all right. Boise State had the 5-man EMP, as you mentioned, D'Angelo, maybe not ready to go in. St. Ambrose won that. They were just running down with the point, and then, as you said, Icy happened, actually working out that he died so early in the previous fight to the Diva Bomb. He got back, and now Boise State, I don't want to say their work's cut out for them, but they only need to get basically the first point, so there's not going to be too much pushing the Broncos need to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and high ground control is going to be the ultimate key to this. You leave somebody on cart, and then you proceed to wipe them off of high ground so that they can't use it against you, and you hope you get a couple eliminations.
You see here, looks like Boise State going to run it back all the same. Arc this time going to jump off the Sombra onto the Tracer, so it's all on Frost. He's the only man with the EMPs, and I think a 5-man EMP, Boise State will be ready this time.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I mean, they better be ready this time, because that was truly, that's Frost, man. Oh my god, that was amazing. And you didn't even get any limbs for that.
Yeah, you rarely see, I mean, it canceled out the Coalescence, shut down a couple of ultimates, and unfortunately Boise State wasn't able to pick up a single elimination. We do see everyone on St. Ambrose on the high ground. Narbles gonna jump right up there and try and do as much damage as he can. Jarrett gonna be the first one to fall. Arc going to get hacked, going to go down as well. Who needs the high ground? Boise State doing a great job. Unfortunately, Beanie Bum will fall. Cloud going to get eliminated. Alyssa is going to get hacked on the side by Frost, and Boise State winning this fight as the mech goes down and the Broncos pick up the first one, but they're probably going to have to win at least one more if they pick up the pieces.
Oh yeah, absolutely an amazing job by Boise State there. We walked up and just wiped them off of high ground, and the Moira dropped too late and ended up dying. The tanks dropped first, they dropped well, but they really needed to all drop together so that their Moira didn't die and then they didn't proceed to 1v1 everybody else.
See what Boise State wants to do. You can see the parking space they need to get to. Narbles immediately going to fall over, though, trying to maybe get St. Ambrose napping. Whipple going to pick out Cloud, though, to wrap things up at one aside. Jarek and Azure Rose dropping very, very low, but Quibble will be forced out of the mech and now has to be very careful. Boise State is going to get a hack onto Alyssa. Pleb just has the Coalescence as he's dropping very, very low. We'll see if he wants to commit it, holding onto it for now. There's the EMP by Frost, and it's going to unfortunately completely whip. Sound Barrier is going to come out from Azure Rose. The Coalescence is going to come out from Pleb. A huge Diva Bomb by Quibble once again, followed up by a huge Death Blossom. Doesn't matter that Alyssa got one. Boise State with the team kill, and that's going to be more than enough to win that match.
Absolutely amazing. Took us 2 fights to win there, 2 very long engages there. We didn't even technically lose a fight there because there were just 2 very long engages in which we lost people. But that was an absolutely amazing attack by Boise State there.
Yeah, it is kind of weird to think of it. Boise State on that map had a 5-man EMP, didn't win the fight, and then a 0-man EMP and got a team kill. So, you know, as for as much power as you want to put on the EMP, Boise State doing a great job making up for that earlier one that they might have wasted. So Boise State going to take all 3 maps against St. Ambrose here in the NECC regular season. Boise State off to a fantastic start, D'Angelo. But that's not all we have. We have more Overwatch coming up next. But before we get to that, what are your final thoughts for Boise State in what started out as a very close match, and then they ended up really sort of dominating that last game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Boise State just did an amazing job with being coordinated in their dives. Wherever Icy was, we also had Quidgeable there, and we also had Beanie there. And Beanie and Icy have been playing forever, so they know what the other person is doing. But Quidgeable has just integrated himself into that so well that our dives are able to be as successful as they are. And in addition to Rezo just having absolutely huge ultimates, regardless of what character he was, it enabled us to win, and we did a really, really good job of not only learning, but adapting. And I'm really proud of our team.
Well, like I said, there's going to be another opportunity for Boise State. We've got another Overwatch game coming up, and then we'll wrap things up with the Valorant game from last Friday against Florida State to make sure that Gridiron Rivalry Series is bowed tight and make sure that it goes off. Hopefully well for Boise State, because right now Florida State leading that series 2-1. But yeah, I'm going to be curious. I mean, for Rizzo in this next Overwatch match, I know Boise State does have some rotating parts, which is always nice. He's got to keep up the 1 junk tire kill average or rip tire average, which was absolutely insane. So ton of pressure on Boise State, but I think it was a great start for the Broncos today, and I can't wait to see how this next match goes, D'Angelo, because Boise State, they let everybody know you can kick them in the teeth, but they're going to kick right back.
Oh, yeah, we're doing an amazing job here, and I mean, ultimately, I do believe that pressure is one of the best things that our team functions against, because pressure motivates you to learn. Pressure motivates you to do better, and we're already relatively motivated to do that.
Well, we are. Before we go into our next one, we do have a player of the game. D'Angelo, do you have any predictions while we get that all set up?
If it's not Izzy, I'm going to cry, because we had a Peak Master rise to the challenge of a top 500 monkey and come out absolutely uncontested on top. Our dives were so solid. We did an amazing job of calling those and by following through on those and by not picking bad ones. And it really was just a fantastic overall team effort, but Icy would have been the one leading that. And so, give me the player of the game.
Well, unfortunately, D'Angelo, I might say that you might start crying, because I think it has to go to Rizzo, because, I mean, those rip tires weren't on point. I'm sorry. I get it. Tanks and supports need love, too, but what catches everyone's eye, it's the eliminations. It's the scrolling eliminations on the side. Our Reapers played well, but Rizzo had insane rip tires on the first couple of maps, so we are going to see who it is, and it's going to be Quibble, actually, a member that neither of us picked. I mean, talking about eliminations, you said it, nobody ready for the Diva Bomb. He probably average at least one elimination every time as well, which is incredibly impressive for the Diva Bomb that is so telegraphed.
Oh yeah, because he has the trickiest angles, and it's really just fantastic to watch. If you ever see where his baby Diva was, or where he's launching the bomb from when he gets the eliminations, like, it's somewhere you never would have had any idea that you could throw a Diva Bomb there. And I do believe that's why he's so consistent at getting eliminations.
So big shout out to Quibble and all of Boise State for taking all 3 maps against St. Ambrose. Everyone on the Broncos doing very, very well. As we talked about, Icy going up against Cloud, who, as we heard from the head coach of St. Ambrose, is a top 500 tank player, and he did a very phenomenal job, as you mentioned, D'Angelo. But kills get everybody's attention, and Quibble did a great job of doing that. So huge shout out to him being the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like they're helping their members achieve financial success. So a huge congratulations to Quibble, who is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game for Boise State's win over St. Ambrose here tonight. But as we talked about, that's not all we have as we take a look at some of the fantastic highlights from the action. We have another Overwatch game coming up for Boise State. So, hey, pressure's on for Quibble, as I said, for Rizzo as well. You got to keep up those kill averages, because that's the flashy part. That's what we all care about. So we'll see if anyone's ready for Diva Bomb in the next set of matches, D'Angelo.
And I absolutely believe that Quidgeable is going to continue being consistent, because he's been consistent in all the other games we've seen as well. I believe that's part of his draws a player is his consistent, really good diva play. Because he's always with us on the dives, and he's always getting those tricky diva bomb kills that are just amazing to watch, by the way. And he's just an all-around amazing teammate, and he really does make Boise State a better team. A great player does make us a better team, and Quidgeable does contribute to that.
Well, we are going to take a quick break while we get everything ready for the second Overwatch match of the night. And as we do that, we will leave you with the top 5 plays from Boise State St. Ambrose. But like I said, don't go anywhere. We've got Overwatch and then Valorant to wrap things up tonight, all coming up next. Of the point, Cloud dropping very low. He's going to get eliminated. Boise State still holding on to that sound barrier for now as overtime starts off. Jarek has respawn, but it's not going to be there in time. Riptire is going to pick up 3 if you count the mech. Sinfac's going to fall as well. Alyssa just a matter of time, and Boise State 5 members down for the Fighting Bees. The Broncos will hold just. It's true, unfortunately, with the respawns coming out as the Diva Bomb does come out. Icy's going to fall again. Azure Rose going to go down. A huge Death Blossom comes out from Rizzo to get 3 and help Boise State turn around what had been a losing fight. Quibble going to go off the edge. Art going to use his own Death Blossom. He's going to kill onto Beanie Bum. Pleb going to use the Coalescence. He'll get a kill onto Cloud. Now Boise State. Blossom, but Beanie Bum gonna go down with the sound barrier online. There's the Coalescence and the Death Blossom. It's gonna get a combination of 2 members on the side of St. Ambrose. Primal Rage did come out. Syntax gonna use the Riptire, but it's not going to land in. Boise State, despite losing a member early, going to be able to wipe up St. Ambrose. There goes Cloud. Just have to get the payload to the final point. And Boise State, it was a rough start, but they're gonna win Blizzard World and win. Immediately is going to go down. Beanie Bum is unfortunately going to fall. Sinfact will fall, so St. Ambrose is now out of DPS. They'll use the Coalescence to try and make up for it. Primal Rage going to come out, and a huge 4-man EMP landing on every member of St. Ambrose who is sitting on the point. The Death Blossom follows, and there's not much the Bees could do. Boise State gets the full wipe. Arc and Sinfact just respawn. They're not able to make it back, and this Frost is going to unfortunately completely whip. Sound barrier is going to come out from Azure Rose. The Coalescence is going to come out from Pleb. A huge Diva Bomb by Quibble once again, followed up by a huge Death Blossom. Doesn't matter that Alyssa got one. Boise State with
Here in Idaho, we do things a little differently. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. Next, always use fry sauce. I mean, why wouldn't you? Hold steady when out-of-state friends think you're from Iowa. We call it pop, not soda. We always put a lift on our pickups. And we always buckle up because we still have a lot we want to do, and I'm guessing you do too.